me, experiencing a loss in the Forex market has gotten easier along the way, but it always wasn't this easy. And I want to explain to you guys in this video. If I'm going to be quite honest, you guys, I used to be a very sore loser. And the way that I used to lose is quite embarrassing, but I really do want to talk about it. So if you guys don't know, I'm a very competitive person. I play video games. I love video games. I play games such as Call of Duty, PUBG, Metal Gear. They're all shooting games. In real life, I do play sports such as basketball and softball, football. Even if you put a football in my hand, like, I'm gonna throw that thing, right? So in my life, I've just always been a competitive person. I want to win, and when I lose, I get riled up. I can tend to get angry. I can tend to say some choice words. But over time, I've learned to kind of back up from things that make me angry when I lose, because I'm always blame it on my teammates and never myself. But I found myself doing that when I was trading Forex in the beginning. Whenever I would experience a loss or a stream of losses, and this is where it got really bad. If I was losing a trade back to back to back to back, I would run and hide. It's like I would go to sleep, I would place a blanket over my head and just lay there. I didn't want to show my face. And the biggest thing that would happen was, and this is what I've experienced, was sometimes you needed someone to put the blame on. In trading, we want someone to blame. And so what ends up happening is sometimes we end up blaming the coach, or we blame the person who we followed into the trade with. It's just a way to divert from putting the blame on ourselves, right? But see, throughout the years of trading, I really couldn't blame anyone else. I had to blame myself, right? And we're going to get into how I stopped blaming myself, but that was what I was getting into. I was blaming myself for my losses, but I was running and hiding, which is why the blame solely sat on me. So a way that I figured out how to get over placing the blame on me was to really get from under those covers, get out of that depression, get over that anxiety for that moment, and go back to the charts to figure out what really happened. Why did I lose a trade? And that is when everything started to shape around me, and I started to realize a few things. First thing I noticed was I was trading during trauma. So I think a lot of people have been traumatized in life where someone put blame on them for something that they didn't do, or a circumstance that they could not control. And over the years, you just realize, hey, if something happens, it's a mistake that I made. It's my fault. I'm the one to blame. Put the blame on me. And what I realized was, we do that in trading. A lot of us like to say, well, I made a mistake. But did you really make a mistake? Then a lot of us like to say, well, it's my fault I lost the trade. But is it really your fault that you lost the trade? And so what I realized was, if I look at the market and I look to see what really happened, was it my fault I lost, or was there something in the market that I could not control? And this is when I began to find comfort in my losses. I've been learning over the past couple of years that in order to be a really good trader, if you want to be a good winner, you have to be a good loser. And so when I realized, okay, I lose when this specific thing happens, I wrote that into my trading plan to say, if this happens, it's the only time I lose a trade. And guess what the big loser was? It was a reversal. I was normally losing trades when price reversed on me. And if I didn't catch that reversal, if I didn't see that price was reversing, if I got back in on the same side that I just got stopped out of, then that thing used to become my fault. Another thing, when I was first in the beginning of my trading career, I realized I was losing a lot of trades because I was setting tight stop losses. It wasn't that I was wrong in the direction of how I wanted to trade. My stops were just too dang on close. Now, that revolved around me trading in fear back when I was a day trader and a scalper. And as I slowly got the concept, hold on, Shaquan, you are a swing trader. Your stops cannot be too tight, or you're going to be knocked out of almost every good trade that you enter. And so when I realized this, I started to think, okay, in order for me to not lose these trades and hide under the cover, let me set a higher stop loss. Then that turned into, in order for me to know I'm actually losing a trade, it's only when price reverses. And so when I set those parameters into my trading plan, and I started to backtest my theory on how I can know if I'm losing a trade in order to trade in the opposite direction, then I started to find more comfort in losing trades. And it just goes back into the concept. In order to be a good winner, you have to be a good loser. And so I want to talk about a trade that I just experienced a loss in, although it actually kind of made me some money a few months ago, and that is New Zealand dollar USD. So recently I was in a sale and I've been waiting for price to go my way, but I experienced a few discomforts in this trade. One of the first discomforts was the fact that price didn't move as pretty as I had hoped, and so I wasn't sure on how to trade this pair. Now, normally when I'm not sure on how to trade a pair, I normally stay away from it. But because I was looking at the higher time frame, the daily time frame, I noticed that price made a new low, and that was what caused me to want to take a sale. But something fundamentally happened with the United States, and that was when we were looking at CPI data about a week or so ago, and it caused price to move a little weird. We can see this happen with USD JPY, it happened with the Australian dollar yen, it happened with New Zealand dollar, right? Price kind of moved very tricky, and so it caused what I was seeing to kind of fluctuate out of place. But once again, that's not in my control, right? I can only trade what I see. And so I ended up selling, and I didn't follow one of my trading rules. And this isn't a mistake. This is actually me holding myself accountable. Because I think in trading, there's a difference between making a mistake and holding yourself accountable when you actually do something that's outside of your rules, right? So I actually ended up entering into a sale on a Friday, but I was able to get out of it for break even the following week. Now, I entered again this week, and the trade was going really well. But then guess what ends up happening? Price has now ended up reversing, and I had to take a small loss on this position. But now that price has reversed, now I'm like, okay, how can I make my money back? And now that I've lost the trade, I'm kind of at a little bit of peace, and I'll tell you guys why. I'm happy I'm out of the trade because now I can look to say, okay, I can do something different. Not change my strategy, but if I see that I'm uncomfortable with the setup, next time I can look at it this way. Or next time I could attempt to trade it this way. Because all losses are a learning process. There's a lesson in every single loss. And I learned a really valuable lesson. Number one, always trade my rules. Number two, don't break the rule just to catch a few pips, especially when there's another trade around the corner. And number three, I've never seen price move like this on a 12-hour time frame before, but now I have a mental picture where if this happens, it's okay for me to back up and back off and not attempt to trade this. Another reason why I'm okay with this loss is because I had a 1,400 pip winner on Euro JPY. And so that trade helped me out a lot as well. And so I took literally around a 0.8% loss, literally 0.8 and a 4%, a 0.8 loss on this position, but I was able to catch a way bigger trade on Euro JPY, holding that one for under a month. It's okay to lose a trade as long as you have what happens after you lose a trade in your trading plan. And for me, I always have a plan on how I can make my money back. Can I control this market? No, I can't control this market. But what I can do is realize this: I'm not a loser, I just experienced a loss. But after you feel it, and after you find some comfort in it, and after you realize exactly why you lost the trade, get back in the game, reanalyze, and now set yourself back up to win your money back. Not revenge trade. We're gonna plan this thing out. So you guys, I pray that this video helped you. So I will talk to you guys in the next video. You guys be blessed.